All right, give me the countdown. All right, hello everyone. This is Rap Raven. Hopefully the stream is started. Yes, it says live. Fantastic. Do not adjust your sets on YouTube. This is Raven. This is Raven. Big up Times TV. We'll be networking today. We'll be doing a special show on Black Betterment. What is it? What is it for? And certain big questions that come up. So even if you don't catch this live, it will be recorded. And let me know you're here if you're in the actual group. This is Rap Raven. We'll be discussing Black Betterment. Fantastic. Part of the program that we're doing, I'll be discussing certain ideas, certain things. Big up, Brother Kane Black. And then we'll send out a link and we can join the discussion. But before we do that, we have to get house rules sorted out. So we'll go through the traditional starting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it, let me just see, give it 2 minutes or so just to warm up the internet, make sure everything's good. I'll be your host, Rap Raven, and this is the Black Betterment Banter. This is a new prototype idea that me and Times TV are thinking about doing. A segment potentially once a week, maybe Thursdays at 10-ish. Well, obviously, people in different countries, different times, but the UK time, that is. And for the discussion of Black Betterment, what is it? How does it work? But ultimately, solutions for Black people and ways to have Black people come together to form solutions, progress, and all that good, fantastic, megally good stuff. So that's what we're doing. We're going to try to be as constructive as possible. There might be some controversial stuff, as naturally it happens, but we'll try to make it work. Big up everyone there. Big up everyone in talk. Big up. Tell your friends we're live. We're going to be very constructive today. I'll give out the links. After I do the intros, I'll give out the links to tell your friends. So what we're going to do is I represent another channel called the Black Betterment Broadcast. So it's on YouTube, and we have certain house rules. So what I'd like to do is go through how we normally start there, and how the culture and ideas and templates that we do on that platform, we can do on this segment, just because we find it works quite well. And it's we find it easier to find solutions when we have these kind of frameworks done. So let me just make this bigger. So I think it's this one here. Magic button. There you go. Well, okay. It shouldn't be blue, but there you go. All right. So welcome to the Black Betterment Black Betterment Banter. This is a segment, so it's the Black Betterment Banter, right? I'm just gonna resize my one screen. Normally I have two, but now I have one, so that's not the best. All right, so see what I can do. Cool. Right. So don't forget Black Betterment Building on Instagram. That's where we promote all the shows. So do yourself a favor and tell a friend to be the friend of that page. Very nice. All right. So basically, when we start any kind of Black Betterment, or when I start any kind of Black Betterment collective work, I tend to start with the free starting statements. Now, this free starting statements, some people understand it. Sometimes it causes anxiety. Either way, it's very beneficial. So we'll go through why we say it, but let me just read it out first, right? So here's the first statement. When it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on Black matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. So at these things, we're underdeveloped, we struggle, right? We're highlighting this, right? Statement 2. Individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Oh dear, that's right, no friends. Big up, brother King Kel, very important brother. Big up all the other people live in the house as well. And the final statement, starting statement, which is very important, probably the most important to take or give, is constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. These are the three starting statements. So when we're practicing Black Betterment, these three statements keep us grounded. It's very important, and we'll break down how that works later on, but don't forget them. But we'll come back to it every time we start a show. Now, we're naturally going to send out a link for all the brothers and sisters to get involved and join in, the mood and spirit of being constructive and helping Black people. But before we do it, we always try to practice the 4D values, right? So those who don't know, what are the 4D values? The 4D values are these: discipline, dignity, dedication, and discernment. Very important. All right. So whenever we send the link out, or we're trying to do constructive works for Black people, try to remember the 4Ds. This will make trying to find solutions and generally teamwork just that teensy bit more easier, or a lot more easier to do. But don't forget, so that's discipline, dignity, dedication, and discernment. Take a screen grab, but we'll be showing it later on if people forget. All right. Also, if we can try to use more descriptive language and not derogatory language if possible. So I've listed some words on here. usually when people come together, it might be in the spirit of being joyful, but certain kind of words we tend to not use when we're trying to find solutions. Even the N word, a lot of people love it. It rolls out the tongue very nicely, especially in rap and stuff. The reason we don't use it here is because I always say that you tend to find that when we use the N word, we can use it when we give a person a compliment, but we can also use it when we insult someone. And I always ask the question, when we call someone the king and queen, do we use those words also to insult? And the answer is usually no. So that means that there's obviously something going on with that word. So we're going to just leave it at the back burner for now, at least within these talks. There you go. So now you've seen that. Let's move on. So for those who don't know, what is Black Betterment? Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. It's very straightforward, very simple. It's not rocket science, right? And it's a lifestyle. Now you're thinking, why are we here promoting the lifestyle? One of the challenges you find with Black people, or as a collective historically, is if you're not consciously doing something, other people groups and other systems might naturally draw you towards doing behaviors or activities that doesn't work in your collective best interest. So one of the solutions is if we can develop a lifestyle, a way of thinking, a way of teaching, a way of being around each other by osmosis that makes Black people dedicated to being high principled and solution based and be one Black first and all that good pro-Black good stuff that we all should be doing, but we probably not. Now, certain countries it comes more naturally, certain countries it doesn't. This is a local global idea. So regardless of where you are, if you identify or identified as Black, you can practice Black Betterment, and we can break down what Black means and all that kind of stuff there. But generally, that's what it is. So Black Betterment is a lifestyle, and this broadcast, or this, I guess, section in Titan TV's broadcast is dedicated to promoting the lifestyle of Black Betterment and find out how can we promote it, and also does it work? Is it problematic? Is it beneficial? All those good questions you can have here, and we will answer you because we've been doing it for some time. All right. So just to break down certain kind of lingos, because lingos are important. When you practice Black Betterment, there are two types. So there's two types of practitioners of the lifestyle of Black Betterment, and we're going to break it down what there is. All right. So on one side, we have what is known as the Black Betterers or the Black Betterer. All right. And I'll read that out with my glasses. A Black Betterer is a Black person practicing a lifestyle choice involving dedication to enhancing the livelihood of Black people, specifically, locally and globally, in all areas of people activity whenever it's constructively possible. All right. And I'll break that down what that means. So that's one. So one side is the Black Betterer, right? Next half of people who practice Black Betterment lifestyle are known as Black Betterment Builders. Yeah, a Black Betterment Builder, right? And a Black Betterment Builder is a Black person practicing a lifestyle choice involving dedication to enhancing the livelihood of Black people, specifically, locally and globally, in one or more areas of people activity. So what we're trying to say here, basically, there are people who their entire life is helping Black people, and we will label them Black Betterers because that's their life. It just makes sense for them to do this. And the hopes is we can get as many of those as possible because that's very beneficial. However, when you live in the world, sometimes it's not that easy. Some people discover these kinds of beneficial ways very late in life, or they're not that motivated, but they want to feel part of a struggle. They want to feel part of a solution. So you give them a path, and the path is, why don't you do one activity or two activities, right, dedicated only specifically to Black people, and in that activity you'll be known as a Black Betterment Builder. So the reason it comes out of this is because what you tend to find is historically you have very pro-Black people, which is amazing, but then there becomes like a void or isolation between the pro-Black person and the average everyday person, and sometimes they almost become non-compatible, and they don't want to work with each other, right? So through Black Betterment Lifestyle, we try to find a solution to this, saying that yes, we want the experts and dedicated people, but also those who are not really in it or don't really understand it. There's a place for that Black person to try to find solutions and be a part of a forward furtherment plan. The only rules of Black Betterment is it's Black people. So it's Black people helping Black people. So the only rules is you have to be a Black person and you're working with other Black people. Okay, this is the thing. It's part of the lifestyle. Can you train Black people, our collective group, to have that default in the brain? Now, for many people, of course it can, but you have to understand that isn't the norm in so many areas of the world for reasons that we'll break down later or we'll discuss. But that's just a quick and easy breakdown of Black Betterment, or the two types of Black Black Betterment practitioners. So we broke it down. So let me make it more clear with the next slide. So the Black Betterer, this is the more dedicated person. They're dedicated to Black love. So they're going to try to find a Black partner, marry a Black partner, be with a Black person. It's just automatic, right? They're dedicated to Black economics, teaching Black people important skills, join and create Black networks, promote Black Betterment, promote high principle behavior for Black people. That's the Black Betterer. That's the Black belt of Black Betterment, right? Not everyone's going to do that. Obviously, some people, they find themselves not doing some of those things, specifically not marrying Black people. So this is the Black Betterment Builder does at least one activity that is dedicated to Black Betterment. Yeah. And then there's example, I set up a class training computer program for Black children, all that good stuff. Cool. So what we're going to talk about is naturally there are two kind of phases, left and right, right? So there's error-prone behavior and high principle behavior. Yeah. Now, what we want to do is we want to get as far away from error-prone behavior and as close to high principle behavior as possible. You see, that's what we want to do. So sometimes we're going to say, brother, this error-prone behavior, sister, that's error-prone behavior. We want to move away from that because we all have challenges. We all do. Can me see if I can put my face there as well. Let's do that. Yeah, I can. Why not? Magic. So yeah, so we all have problems and challenges, whatever. But we want to move as far away from error-prone as possible. And sometimes we might not know we are drifting towards error-prone territory. And when you do, a Black Betterer or a Black custodian, and someone will let you know, brother, you're moving into error-prone territory there. That's right. We tend to not use derogatory terms. There is a strategy of why you would use that, but we try not to do that. What we tend to focus on those who are synchronized with Black Betterment and those who are unsynchronized with Black Betterment. Let me put it on the camera. There you go, right? So, if someone is doing something that doesn't work in Black people's collective best interests and is undermining Black progress, we will say, brother, this is very unsynchronized, sister, this is very unsynchronized, right? Sometimes we accept that not everyone is going to want to be synchronized, so we just have a word to describe that what you're doing doesn't correlate with Black Betterment. That's what we do. So if you didn't know, now you know. All right, cool. We're going to be, okay, so there's some deep stuff, so let me go there yet. So that is a quick crash course in what Black Betterment is, all right? Basically, we have a show every Fridays, 10 p.m. UK time on YouTube, right? And this is a Thursday show. So I think the format of what might happen is there's a place called Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park in London. Sometimes we go there every Sunday. We used to, but we're trying to go back there now and we discuss Black issues. So the idea is on Sunday, maybe we'll go there, Brother Titans TV and COE, one of them will film it. We'll get footage. People will see it live. And unfortunately, people can't be there to actually ask me questions, ask some of the other guest questions. So we might use a platform like this to bring those people here just as a recap of what happened. And then other people can actually give their opinions of what they saw and opinions of how we should move forward. All that good stuff. That's one thing we're going to do. Also, things will go in the week. We'll pull it here. This show is meant to be more of a banter show. That's where we're trying to go. So we definitely want to be more guest oriented. But if you come in, we understand people have supreme passions, and that's good, and different opinions. We just ask that you try to be as high principle as possible, and and follow the 4D values. That's if it's possible, and this will make helping Black people. That's that teensy bit more easier. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is, at the moment, I think the video's, let me see what's called. The video's called "Are Black People Collectively Inadequate?" All right, it's a very important thing. So what I'm going to show is when I go, I think I went to Speaker's Corner. Was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. One time, my memory's not as good as it once was, but I went there anyway. And when we were speaking, there was two wonderful gentlemen, brothers. One from, I want to say Senegal, and one from maybe Zimbabwe, but I can't remember. But they're based in the UK. And I was telling them about these concepts, and let's see. So let's see if I can show this fantastic video from, where is it? You click on my chair, isn't it? Hold on, 7 seconds. There we go. This one. It's in color.
And what I'm trying
to... So basically, this is me Speaker's Corner for those who haven't seen. I'm sure you've all seen it fantastically. But let's just see of how I start the conversation. Big up Project everything. This is a serious guy.
What's your name, brother?
Kiba.
So me, Brother Raven and Brother Kiba, we're going to start our quarter this week. And what I'm trying to do is, I'm here promoting a lifestyle known as Black Betterment, right? And I'm trying...
That's right. We are here promoting a lifestyle known as Black Betterment. Oh yeah.
Trying to get as many black people as constructive as possible to work through as that particular lifestyle of working with black people. But in order to do it, we have to highlight shortcomings. So the primary what I'm doing is highlighting that, unfortunately, from my observations and study, that when it comes to black people working as a team for our own solutions and working with ourselves, we are inadequate at this particular thing at the moment, right? We struggle at this concept of working as a team for our own needs, right? When I've said this, many black brothers have had so much anxiety, right? And they can't believe I said it. So I've said it, and they're gonna come and try to offer their opinion. But no, the reason I'm saying that black people are collectively inadequate is because I promote a lifestyle solution. It's looking as a B1 black first, every black person work together for black issues and solution. And now we're going to the keyboard.
Okay, we'll pause it for 7 seconds there, family. So naturally, this is what it is. Usually when I go out and I use these terms that black people are collectively inadequate, you know, people throw chairs, get angry and this kind of stuff. But you have to understand that, first of all, in order to, there has to be a truthful element to everything people do. But also, the idea is to never just come with a whole lot of complaints and then go to sleep. The idea is recognize there's a challenge and we have a solution. This camera's a little shot. Yeah, there you go, right? There's a solution. Oh yeah, right? And that's what it is. So if I was to walk down the street and say, black people come together to do economics and family building, they'll look at me like some kind of fairy or some kind of hippie or whatever, and they'll use the whole thing. The black people, everything's going good. There's millionaires and black millionaires and the world's great and slavery's over. And all that cliche stuff that we've been hearing for many, many years, right? So you have to present like, okay, we recognize the challenge, here's the proof for the challenge, and here's a solution we push forward. And the solution is actually built from the community. So we are using these conversations that we're going to have that you come in. We refine ideas, we refine techniques, we refine stuff, and we come back to these shows and we deliver it to the people like, here's how we should deliver this information to best help our people. What you're going to find is there's plenty of black YouTubers and entertaining guys who have their own channel and they're black and they put the fist up, and that's all good. But one of the problems you find, a lot of those shows become like a squabble fest where it's just arguing. And I get that's very alluring and very entertaining. What we try to be here is a bit different. We try to be respectful, and we try to make being respectful trendy, which is very hard, but I'm sure we're going to do it one day. But we do that with rules, codes of conduct, templates, and we're going to put that down and go for it. So we press play a bit more on this fantastic video, and then I'm going to break down something else, the secret, that's the rewrite we're doing this week.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm feeling pretty safe so far, but I think you're a bit too harsh about us.
Brothers say we're too harsh. He says, and I get this a lot when I speak. A lot of brothers, everything you say I agree with, but then usually the things they say afterwards, they paint a different picture. Like they actually don't agree. They just, and the brother thinks I'm being too harsh, and maybe we are. Who knows?
And so what we're doing right now is taking the line very, very slowly, like carefully.
The brother saying that we're going the line very carefully, very slowly. All right. Now this is like a 20-minute, 30-minute video, and then there's two brothers back and forth, and their moves swing and change as I'm delivering information about black people being collectively inadequate. Now, what I'm going to use now is, and this is what we tend to use. We tend to use symbols and signs and languages and branding to help paint pictures, so that when you go out and you do your work or you met with other people, you have these kind of words and lingos that can help you find solutions. Yeah. Now, what we're going to do is let me show you a actual. This stuff is fantastic. We're going to go. Okay, so we're going to use the 5 stages of grief, to go over, communicate with brothers and sisters, what happens. Let me make that a bit slightly. Hold on. Let me click on that. Sorry about that. Yeah, you don't see it, so hold on. How do I go? It's on the screen. Magic, voila. Abracadabra, all that good stuff. Cool. So hopefully on the screen you can see it now. So we're going to use the 5 stages of grief to help us help black people, or help us help ourselves, right? And you're thinking, how does that work? So what we're saying is basically we're walking up to people and we're saying, black people, when you find out about global anti-black racism, we tend to use the term white supremacy, but I use the term anti-black racism more so now in these contexts because I'm highlighting the particular mistreatment geared towards the people known as Black people, right? Our group, you know, the Black person, the Afro descendant, the African, whatever terms people use, that group. Yeah, and other people have different variables, and we get into that as well. But so when they hear that globally there is anti-Black racism, and unfortunately we are collectively inadequate when it comes to facing it, and also collectively we have no friends. That's a big surprise when people find it hard that there is no collective group that actually will ever work to, or has successfully worked towards that problem of fixing that, or even fixing the challenges that was forced upon the known as Black people. And you should go looking either way, but you will find your one or two good friends who are non-Black who do wonderful things. However, whatever nation they're from or collective they're from, they don't collectively work together to do anything for you. So disqualified. We don't need to talk about them, not important. So when you try to explain this truth, usually Black people go into grief. Now the grief happens in stages. Some people might skip a stage, some people might go to the end. So the first stage when you tell them is denial. All right. So denial is that's not true. And I've got some quotes here for those who can read it. It's Black people are doing fine. You know, I know some rich Black people, you know, Oprah Winfrey or some other person who's rich, whatever. And then there is no such thing as racism. You know, racism doesn't exist. Yeah, you're just looking at it wrong. So this is the denial stage. So when you tell some people you're going to see me out in the park or out on and maybe over this show, they might jump in and go, "You're wrong." All that stuff, right? And the first stage of the grief is the denial, right? Right. Now, usually if you talk for a bit long, they might go past that, or maybe some go straight from denial into anger, and you can sense it. And some of these brothers, I think they were tipping it up. Definitely the French brother, the Senegalese French-speaking brother in this video, yeah? They went straight to, "You're a racist." Not that the brother did that, but other people. "You're a racist," or "I'm offended by the statement you said about Black people." So you said Black people are collectively inadequate and collectively have no friends. I'm offended. I'm angry. Oh, you know, muscle man and wrestling, all that kind of stuff. Oh, dear. And then they might go, "All you ever talk about is race." So, you know, they're angry, you know, "What you talk about is race." And so this kind of anger, and, you know, and anxiety, anger, and all that kind of whatever, right? Cool. Usually if you keep on talking and they get past that, they go straight to the bargaining point. This is one that I see more often, and sometimes we don't recognize it, the bargaining phase, because this is where it's like, okay, you say there's racism, but you know, Black people is a social construct. So what they do, they're bargaining. So you said that Black people are oppressed, and then the first thing they're going to go is, "Well, Black people don't exist. We don't exist. It was made by a European in a court." And we're like, wherever it exists, wherever it's a so-called structure, wherever it's a digital form, or wherever it is, the people labeled as Black have gone through history, and because of that history, we're behaving a certain way today. So, like I said, the analogy, even if I was wearing pink shoes and you were wearing pink shoes, and 20 men came to beat up the men with pink shoes, and they go, "We're going to beat up the pink shoe men," it makes sense for the pink shoe men to get axes and shields to defend themselves, even though, why are you define us by wearing pink shoes? It's like, this is the survival mentality that most decent people have. But when you've been trained not to defend yourself or to be subservient, it makes no sense. So in the bargaining phase, they'll say things like, "Black people are social contract," or usually when we promote Black Betterment, we're big on Black families. So one of the first strategies of a Black family is to find a Black. So if you're a Black man, be constructive and find a constructive Black wife. Yeah, that's how it works. But when you tell them, they'll say, "But love has no color." You know, this kind of stuff. This is very important. We talk about something that's known as racial whitening. Racial whitening is a very we unpack, and we might even unpack it on this show as well. It's very important. We'll get to that in another time. But we also talk about Black economics and Black ownership, and we talk about second generation wealth. So when you're marrying your wife, she's your first business partner, all this kind of stuff, and your kids inherit your wealth. So you want to create comfortable environments that Black people are owning things and the things you work. Also, as a community, we do think of co-unity spend, and we promote circling the pound or the dollar or the naira or whatever it is many times. And the more non-Black people you have in your circle, the more it's going to filter out, especially in your family. So we try to remind people about that. And then what's the last one? Oh, yeah, people go, "We should work with non-Black people." Yeah, that's another thing. It's the bargaining stage where you talk about the struggles of Black people and why we need Black Betterment. And then they'll say, well, we need to, and you'll say, I've been for 4, 5, 6 years, I've been gas speakers calling. It's interesting. Let's work with the allies and, hold hands and all that good stuff. You just do that. With the non-black person. Right. This is a part of the bargaining. You've got a strategy, something is wrong, but rather than work with your own people to fix it, you want to get someone else to help out or do the heavy work. Not good enough. Bargaining. Now usually if people go past this stage, and we're talking about the 5 stages of grief, when we tell people about black people being collectively and black racism being a very big world, and then you come together to solve that problem, they hit the depression stage. So after the first 3 combative kind of stages, they are in the depression. Like, things like, there's nothing we can do about our condition. Oh man, all that stuff. Oh no, and then what's that? Black people are useless. Oh, it's that, and then it's like, oh no. Yeah, so that happens, the depression stage, right? And and if you get through that stage of the 5 stages of grief, then you accept it. You go, yep, we're collectively inadequate. We collectively have no friends, and constructive black families are important. Now, this is where we jump in, the Black Betterers. We jump because at that stage you have two decisions. You can know the truth, right, and continue as you was, because we're in a system now where you can just live and exist and get by, and someone will benefit, probably not black people, but someone's going to benefit, or you can practice and promote Black Betterment, is what this broadcast is about. So when you hit that 5 stage of grief, when you're through it, some people skip 1, skip 2, skip 3, go right to the end. If you're lucky, if you can. But when you're at that stage of acceptance that black people are collectively inadequate, collectively have no friends, and constructive black man and constructive black woman makes a constructive black family, when you accept that reality, then you have a choice. Do you continue as you was, or do you practice and promote Black Betterment? We're saying you should practice and promote Betterment, and we want you guys listening live and in the future time to help us brand and repackage this way of helping black people appealing. Now, what can we do? But in a high principled way. Yeah, it has to be, how can we make this concept be more alluring? And that, I guess, is what this show is about. Obviously, the title is, are black people collectively inadequate? And my answer is yes. And that's why we need Black Betterment. But normally I would move on to other solution-based stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the invite out early on, because I don't like rambling. Although I do on the Black Betterment broadcast, I tend to talk longer, and we also invite guests to speak. And we can do it on this one as well, but this is more about getting involved. And so I'm here to answer questions. I haven't been reading the forum, but I'm sure it's been constructive. But what I will do is I'll click on invite. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do, because this is the first time on Brother on the Titans TV, and I'm sure that he might have certain rules of his own kind of thing, but we've definitely got some rules of how I want to run the show here. And we want the 4D values, family. So I'm going to put it, remember, come in, we're solution-based, we're asking constructive questions. Treat all interactions as a case study. Can black people get together and find solutions without tearing the house down? I'm sure we can. Let's demonstrate it. So don't forget, discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. I've got so much things flying around it. Get out of the way. Cool. So I'm going to post a link there. Look at that. The link's in the actual chat. Feel free to jump in. Just jump in when you like. And why do that? I'll be rambling about science gaps until I see people. The question is, are black people collectively inadequate? You can actually give your feedback on that, or we can go back and watch the video to see what the brothers thought. Let me know in the actual forum. But if not, I will go on to give more videos. But the question you're thinking about is black people collectively inadequate? And let us
to highlight the woman.
I'm going to skip this. There's a lot, so you should definitely watch some content over everything. And let's see if we can just get 1 to 2 things of what these brothers are saying, to see if they ever tackle any of the 5 stages of grief. The 5 stages of grief.
They'll make institutions, they'll make media groups, they'll create films, books, philosophies. And what happens? By osmosis, black people will do the right thing. Because right now, by osmosis, black people are collectively doing the wrong thing, because it's learned behavior. Because we don't own institutions to counter the wrong behavior that comes out. Let me demonstrate.
No, wait. Let's
yeah, so we're hitting the anger stage now. Excellent. Let's carry on. Let's just see if we can hit those 5 stages of grief.
Let's keep it balanced.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now I know now what it is. I know what it is that I have an issue with.
So remember, I'm saying that black people are collectively inadequate, and a solution is actually being constructive and come together. Practicing Black Betterment. The brother has a issue. He has an issue with this particular thing. And let's see what it is. Let's see if it actually tackles any of the 5 stages of grief. Let's see.
You see the word, you see the thing, this idea of black.
African.
Yeah.
African. Okay.
You've been saying black for a very long time.
This you see a lot. You say black people are, and remember the diagram I showed you? Black people, we're being mistreated. We're not working efficiently together on solutions. And then what the brother says is this word black you use. We shouldn't use the word black. And this is what, so this is now in the 5 stages of grief, we will count that as stage 3, bargaining. He's now bargaining with words. We're not going to find solutions, but the brother's bargaining with words. We see this a lot, and we understand this part of the 5 stages of grief. You see, now we have a way to identify it and see where it comes from. Oh yeah.
Here's what it is, brothers, right? There's the thing we use, we call it's the synonymous star, right? It's this little star that we put by every black word. Since I've been practicing hold on, brother, it's very important. Since I've been practicing Black Betterment, I've always put this little star next to the word black. And that means that the word black can either mean black, Afro, Aboriginal, African, with a K or a C.
Now, brothers and sisters, we're going to learn new lingo today, yeah? Whenever a brother or sister is doing stuff that isn't in our collective best interest, rather than us name call them, let us say they're unsynchronized, meaning they're unsynchronized with Black Betterment. It's an actual descriptive term that says that, because when we try to do our collective work, we are looking for people who are synchronized. You know, like you go swimming, they're synchronized, or you play football and they're synchronized. This is important. If we can use the term unsynchronized, that will be a more constructive way to describe brothers and sisters who are unsynchronized with Black Betterment, rather than name calling historical terms that was usually made to mistreat Black people. I know remember, this is a case study of strategy. Let's see how it works, because what tends to find is when we go to name calling, it becomes a back and forth about the feelings and someone being hurt, and then we're wasting time when we could be helping Black people. So just a strategy case study. Let's see if that works. But let's see what the brother says as well. So
black or more any kind of word that people, right? And that's what it is. So just like if you go to Ethiopia or Japan, Coke has a different word, black has a different word. I know that with Black people, and this is not to use, this is general, whenever you try to get solutions, we'll talk about the word black.
My brother, you know the reason why I'm saying this?
So I'm saying that for now, the word Black Betterment is now going to be called African Advancement, Afro Advancement. Afro Advancement.
It's too long.
So I've given them a solution. Let's move on. Now they're saying it's too long and they're going to suck. Can you sometimes it's the bargaining. This is part of the 5 stages of grief. Bargaining. They're not really. Head's not really in the whole Black Betterment or even just Black people together. They're trying to find holes and stuff, which happens as human. But generally, we now can identify this as stage 3. Stage 3. My mind's gone blank for 7 seconds. Bargaining. There you go.
The reason why I'm saying this.
Can you see?
So name calling is effective in identifying enemies of Black side. Yeah, here's what it is. As a strategy, go and do it. I'm saying that when we're practicing Black Betterment, from being a debater, public debater, right, and being in public government shows, as soon as you name call someone, it then gives them the opportunity to say, "I'm hurt." You're name calling, and now the topic you're talking about is no longer the primary. And the primary is now you've said something that hurts my feelings, or you've said an offensive word. I'm saying as a strategy, we don't use those terms. It's better when you're practicing Black Betterment or you're in a public place, whatever, to use unsynchronized or synchronized. That way, people go, okay, I understand. We're doing something, you're just not part of it, right? I know it feels good when someone is behaving in a self-sabotaging way to just call them a historical term that was once used to destroy Black people. But I'm saying as a strategy, let's do it. You know what? There's maybe what I should be doing as well is actually going through certain kind of lingos, because obviously a lot of you guys are very new. Some of you don't know who I am. Yeah, I probably just come from over the moon. You've never seen me before, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, right? So after I listen to what this guy says, we're gonna look at some talking tactics and lingos, and also the link. Oh, you know what's funny as well? I've posted the link in the thing, but I don't think I can. I can if I find it. But the link is in the actual thing. If you want to jump in. While this is playing, I'll see if I can pin it if I can pin it, I should be able to. Oh, it's gonna take so long to pin it. It's in there. Just find it. There you go.
Remember, conquering black people and conquer black people. Go ahead.
Why would you say that?
No, because
Why would you preface that before I talk?
No, because the brother made a statement that I have to report.
Okay.
He said too long. Go ahead.
Also, we'll break them down. What is a conquered black person and a conquering black person? Very important.
Okay.
Did you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make here is that words are very important because
Very
it's
true.
not that I'm being petty. It's not that I'm
No,
trying
it's
to
not what
be.
you do.
You might be being very petty, my friend.
It's fine, it's
Yeah,
fine.
because the thing is this, like, if you go to Somalia, some Somalis, and you
Right.
say,
We're going to pause it there. He goes off one. Excellent. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the fantastic paper. There you go. And we're going to have breakdowns because obviously when you talk to a new group, it's almost like, would you, what's all this stuff you're talking about? This is madness. And what it is, as black people, we need to have a way of processing information that works in our collective best interest. So how can we do that, right? So let me see if I can find some of these things. All right. So basically, we're talking about templates, right? So, we're going to give people a template, and that template, if you follow it, it's been certain things, certain progressional things should more likely happen to you or more likely happen collectively, right? And so everything we're saying is a template. It's not a rule, it's not a law, it's not a decree, it's a template. When you play a video game, there's a character pre-made, it's a template, right? Just like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, black people, we don't have many templates. So we go with what the world says, but the world doesn't like black people. So if you go with what the world says, you're gonna destroy yourself. And when we look at black people, what seems to be happening? We destroy ourselves. We don't even know we're doing it. No, we don't. Unfortunately. All right. So let's go through more of what we need to go. Right. So I've used the term here, the sad African and the glad African, right? Very important. Where does this come from? I'm from the diaspora, I'm from the Caribbean, family Jamaican and Dominican, right? And there's people with African America. And one of the strategies that the ancestors from the Caribbean and America will do is they go, look, in order for us to get stronger, we need to unite with brothers and sisters on the continent. But but sometimes there's that, even now at the moment, there's like some civil minor wars going on here and there, which needs to be ironed out. Just disagreements. But one of the ways is from a person in the diaspora, how you can think about person in Africa is like this, right? When you go there are two types of African. There's a sad African, and a sad African is when every time he sees you or she sees you, they're sad because maybe historically they wanted to get you off the continent and they sold you into some kind of bondage. Sad African. And then there's the glad African. When you see that person, they want to build with you and do all wonderful things, blah, blah, blah. Excellent, fantastic stuff. So rather than just a blanket saying this African nation, this African people, or whatever, let's break people down into sad Africans and glad Africans. And we only want to work with glad Africans, not sad Africans, you see? Now, this is psychological. So I don't like having to constantly break things down to the micro, chasm, whatever, right? But how it works is, you're giving the person you talk to a choice. They either someone who historically is trying to undermine you or someone who is on your side. We know historically not all skin folk, all these whatever philosophies. So we let them pick in it. Which one are you? Are you a glad African or a sad African? So this should help you deal with networking branches on the continent, finding the most constructive one. Also, you saw there the conquered and the conquering black person. Naturally, when you want to work, not everyone you can work with because their mindset is just conquered, right? So we say, by the way, brothers and sisters, we're here and we're only looking to work with conquering black people. That's it. We don't want to conquer black people, and we understand that conquering black people, when they find challenges, they try. When they see challenges, they try to find solutions. Are you that person? So let them define if they're a conquered black person or a conquering black person, because we only going to work with conquering black people. And I tried to break this down to the brothers at the park, and I think they kind of missed the metaphor, but whatever. I should have done timestamp to show you it, but whatever. It is what it is. Then we move on. We say this. There's another thing we say, right? Now, the add-on to that is I work with, black people, and I work on behalf of black people. So establishing who you work with, the organization, and establishing who you work on behalf of, and that's osmosis. So you work with people in an organization to find solutions and do constructive things, but not everyone can join that because of their mindset or their skill ability. So you work on behalf of them by osmosis. So even the guys, and the reason why I'm saying, to be merciful to the guys who are not name call, who are unsynchronized, because at some point by osmosis, they might do the right thing, because by osmosis, black people have been trained to do the wrong thing. It's not normal to actually not support your own progression. It's not normal. The enemies of Black people have done a very amazing job of marketing self-destruction and self-sabotage. Amazing. Oh, give them 10 points. Really good. There you go. So we don't want to damage people who fell for that marketing. We want to create the marketing and have them by osmosis come back to the side of fixing your own issues. Yes, because Black people don't tend to do that sometimes. Oh dear. Let's move on. Self-sabotaging, blah, blah, blah. Excellent pictures. Synchronize. What else? Let's see if I can also find. Yes. So, and that's another thing. They're a brother in genetics, not a brother in ethics. Don't forget that one sometimes. Collective inadequate, of course. I'm just trying to think of there's all the stars. I don't want that. That's a good one. We'll come back to that one. We'll come back to that in a minute. Just think, there's so much documentation. So what we do is we literally sit down and write down documentation of so many things and try to train Black people on. There we go. This is what I was looking for. So this is for you guys who might find it very hard to see an unsynchronized brother and sister who's sabotaging Black progress and not name call them at 1,000 miles an hour. The fist of the North Star. Don't know what that is, but it's a guy punches very fast, right? Ken Shamrock, his name is. There you go. So think of it as a strategy, right? And if you think of it these two terms, it will help you not mistreat Black people or name call, right? And that is, I don't mistreat Black people because, one, it's not nice, and two, it can be used to undermine Black progress. Now, those who have a certain way of processing information just saw what was said there. If you can read that, he said something that's quite a good strategy. Like, I shouldn't name call and mistreat you because it's not nice, but it can also be used to undermine Black progress. Now, if I just said one of those statements, just one, cover that, one of those statements, it wouldn't work. It has to come as in a pair. That one, it's not nice. Two, it can be Black progress. Now I'll reveal the magic trick. When you go on a platform, if I was just to say, don't mistreat people because it could undermine Black progress, they'll say, you don't have a heart. Oh man, you don't care about people, and it's not. Is that the only reason why you don't want to mistreat Black people? Because it might be used to undermine your movement or your lifestyle, whatever. Good stuff. And that's that's a form of bargaining and self-sabotage as well. But now you've got the two, the double duo. Yeah, it's not nice. And it can be used to undermine Black progress. So one of them might be very important. One might not be. Both might be. Who knows? But you've got the tools there to not mistreat Black people with words. Do we have about strategy there? Good. Now, you're probably thinking, this is madness. Like, why does this guy keep talking about strategy? Like, Black people, we can get by without strategy, can't we? No, sir, we can't. No tool. Right? And that's why. And what tends to happen is people practice something known as benchmark rebranding. What is benchmark rebranding out here, you say, right? Well, here's what it is. What happens is we say, as a people, we want to let's say we want to be healthy, and we talk about being healthy as training every day and eating healthy food. And then someone says, yeah, that's long. Let's say healthy is now smiling. And they have a philosophy to make healthy being smiling. You just rebranded the benchmark. And I can assure you, Black people have an entire methodology of rebranding benchmarks. So that's why you have like people who make songs and videos and stuff mistreating Black people. And we'll give them awards because the benchmark is so low. Do you know what I mean, right? And so we want to make sure we have good benchmarks and we reach them. And in order to reach them, we need to have strategies and templates and codes. Yes, sir. If you didn't know, now you know. All right. So let's carry on. Black Love is a very important. There's 3 major campaigns I'm promoting at the moment: the Black Love, Black Family campaign, Black Economics, Black Ownership, and that's important. And one of the biggest challenges I find in practice Black Betterment is promoting Black love, like Black man and Black woman. And this is a whole science that we might have to go. If no one's going to jump in, we'll jump into that science. But right now, we are talking about traditional love, right? Traditional love is black man and black woman. Anything else is contemporary love. Okay, there you go. Co-unity spend, very important. We'll come back to another time. We do case studies on black people in different lands, or people who are labeled as black. So in Australia, the Aborigines are called black. And there's an interesting dynamic that we can see in different lands where black people, black identified people and non-black people are interacting. And the case study we did in Australia was the left woman, she identifies as Aborigine. She's gone through a process known as racial whitening. Matter of fact, that's actually very important. Let's actually play. Did I even put the video in there? I probably didn't. Let's see if it did. I know I had it. Present, open. Very important video. Have I got it? Smart kids. I'm just gonna see if I can. I put so many in here. Did this stop? Nope, not that one. Give me 70 seconds, fam. Hold on. Nope. Is it this one? I think it's this one. So this is from a film called, where is it? The Rabbit Hole or something like this, right? And they've dramatized this stuff, but we talk about racial whitening and why it's important to marry a black woman. This more so towards men, but it's women as well. But generally, men is where the real issue is. We have data to support that. But if you look at what happened in Australia, look at what's happened. This is all documented, and it's not just happening in Australia; it happens all over the world. But we have the dramatization of it, whatever it's called, there. So let's have a sneak peek. Little clip there. Let me get rid of my fantastic face so you can see. All right. Matter of fact, I should have read that. So let me read what it says. Oh, come on, man. Go back. Since 1931, it says for 100 years, the Aboriginal people have resisted the invasion of their lands by the white settlers. Now, a special law, the Aboriginal Act, controls their lives in every detail. It's never nice. And the next one is Mr. A.O. Neville, the Chief Protector of Aborigines, is the legal guardian of every Aboriginal in the state of Western Australia. He has the power to remove any half-caste black child. So what half-caste child is when they have one Aboriginal black parent and one European, Australian, whatever parent from their family, from anywhere within the state. So that was the strategy they had. Let's see what else it says. Let's see what it says. All right. So they're in Perth, and this is a scene. I think it's Kenneth Branagh is the actor, very good actor. He is a good actor. I do that. The question is from a troll: did white steal a woman, Raven? So this is part of the bargaining process where we try to promote constructive black things, and then they try to side chain with something else. No, 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 that wouldn't happen. But anyway, here's the acting scene. We'll go back to the acting.
Next batch.
But what's very important as well, there will always be trolls, by the way, and remember, look at the behavioral patterns, not only of the trolls, but the unsynchronized black people. Whenever you try to be constructive and high principled and take yourself from a low operating place to an adequate place, people will then they shoot you. So remember, me personally and the other members, it's never about the individuals, it's about the ideas and the institutions, right? It's because you can kill individuals, but ideas and institutions live on. So even though someone will say, "Oh, Raven, he must," and that's what they do as well. Whenever you are dedicated to helping black people, they try to reference it with hating white people, and then do you love white women? Does a white man steal your wife? All this kind of stuff. They won't face the facts that the history of anti-black racism has devastated black people. No, sir, they don't do that. But they exist as trolls. But we have to understand how to deal with them, and also being stoic, being very controlled is important, because one of the goals is to make you be angry and shout and scream, and it's going to happen. Remember, when you think as a collective and you're pushing the collective needs forward, these things are more entertaining, but we use all the trolls, all the unsynchronized behavior patterns as case studies. Very important. We are case study the suspected anti-black racist and the unsynchronized black person, so we can find solutions. Yeah, but we're going to carry on watching the scene from the rabbit. I think it's the rabbit hole, the rabbit something, and we're talking about racial whitening, a very important topic, a very good strategy of undermining black economics and black families. Let's have a look at it.
Out of the ordinary, there's 2 applications for Section 63 exemptions. Police reports there. William Harris is applying for permission to marry. She's half caste also. And Mary Wilson's applying for permission to visit her child at Moore River.
So at this time, the Aborigines and what they call the half-caste Aborigines had to get permission to get married, also had permission to see their children, and he's responsible for all this.
She's quite agitated. Oh, and Gladys Phillips has written for permission to buy some new shoes.
She had a new pair a year ago. No, this report from Constable Riggs about the three little half-caste girls, the Jigong, Fenster, Molly, Gracie and Daisy. The youngest is of particular concern. She's promised to a full blood. I'm authorizing their removal to be taken to Moore River as soon as possible.
So they're talking about the racial whitening concept, like we're trying to eradicate Aborigines. So how we do that is by the process of mating, intercourse, and we're going to promise to get the wise and this kind of stuff. That's what it is.
Oh, and Miss Thomas, if you could check that the rate for police transportation is still, I believe, 8 pence per mile.
Yes, Mr. Neville.
Thank you.
Very important, good story, big courtesy of this human element. Remember, because black people are so despised, that and that's whenever you try to dedicate to fiction, people, trolls and uncivilized people, what they'll do is they'll try to do the universal thing. This is also part of this. Never forget it. It's a very effective strategy of trying case studies to be aware of it, and we can just go, thank you, brother, but you need to try again. So you have to try more than to undermine that progress. So I think this is.
As you know, every Aborigine born in this state comes under my control. Notice, if you will, the half-caste child, and there are ever-increasing numbers of them. Now, what is to happen to them? Are we to allow the creation of an unwanted third race? Should the coloreds be encouraged to the black, or should they advance to white status and be absorbed in the white population? I'm going to get asked by some white man, if I marry this person, will our children be black? As chief protector of Aborigines, it is my responsibility to accept or reject those marriages. Here is this 3 generations. Half grandmother, octoroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation, the 3rd cross of native origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color. The Aboriginal has simply been fed out. We come to native steps. Ladies, most of us here with our work here, the training of men servants and our
for those joining the look because of racial whitening, I'm looking at and the strategy that happened today of how to make it's a control. It is a biological thing as well, but more so it's a way of controlling people, controlling assets, and having different groups.
I would like to thank you for your continuing support. Hundreds of half-caste children have been gathered up and brought here to be given the benefit of everything our culture has to offer. For if we and train such children for the future, they cannot be left as they are. And in spite of himself, the native must be helped. Drag up them.
So fantastic stuff in the right? Blah 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 blah. Anyway, let's go back to the pictures. So we just went there because that made the next. Hold on, where is it? That made the case study of the white Aboriginal person, who was a process of racial whitening, and then the black one. What we find is the white one, all the benefits that were set aside for the black Aboriginals for mistreatment and reparations and being forced to be on drugs and alcohol, this kind of stuff, all the benefits to help find work and stuff ends up, you're more likely to get it when you're white Aboriginal than when you're black. So these are the games that people play as well, so-called white Aboriginal. So this is why we we highlight these challenges. We highlight what's going on. Here's a quick diagram. White people's wealth and network. Notice that it's like a spider's web, very connected. Unfortunately, at the moment, Black people's wealth and network practices are very unsynchronized, and we're trying to make similar. So how do we? And these Black Betterment broadcasts is part of that process. That's right. Now, guys, I've actually put the link in, so anyone who wants any questions, yes, you can exist. And I understand that some people might troll, so they don't want to hear their voice. But there is no judgment here. We try to be constructive. If you really have questions, you can come in and ask questions or give us your point of view. It is Black Betterment Banter, of course, and you're welcome to do it. Welcome to do it. All right. So another thing we're going to talk about, and we've tackled racial whitening. But if you guys want to know, these are two major methods of mistreating, marginalizing, and massacring Black people. It happens more so in the diaspora or when the interaction between people groups and Africans or Blacks. But the two main strategies is racial segregation and racial whitening. And whenever we're trying to progress, be aware of both. Be aware of how both of these historical strategies have devastated Black people economically, biologically, and all the psychologically, and all the leads. Very important. And then as we be talking on, I'll be breaking that down and why, out of a war or outside of the actual war or just dominating that way, the two ways after that war is done, in the aftermath, is either racial whitening as a strategy, and this was more so we just demonstrated in Australia, UK, Arab world, and Latin world. Very effective, a very effective way of destroying Black people economically and visually and that kind of stuff, right? And then also more so in the English-speaking world, they use racial segregation. Now we're based in the UK where that they don't use that anymore. They use a different form of that, right? It's glass ceiling, this kind of stuff. But forget that for now. What we're seeing almost by osmosis is actually racial whitening, right? So that's one of the challenges that we face because a lot of our brothers don't necessarily value Black families. There's many who do, but just on a ratio, it's not the same as others. But we are joined by Brother King Kel. So, welcome, brother. Welcome.
Black Betterment, Brother Open. Excellent political presentation. I just wanted to come ask some questions, if I may be able to.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's just in regards to, obviously you've gone through the Black Betterment organization, which is great. There are certain issues going on in the community. So I was wondering, with all this, the unethical code of conduct system that has allowed, unfortunately, unsynchronized African descendants to, engage in crime, etc. and that, right? What kind of organizations can we refer our people to that can kind of sort out this kind of crime, what's been going on? That's my first question.
Right. So there's many grassroots companies coming up. I'm aware. I've worked with Forever Family. This is Brother Respect and other collective brothers, where they're trying to intervene, or more so youth and stuff. They call themselves steppers, where they any kind of problem going, they try to go in collectives to discuss certain things. I'm also aware that I think Brother Mega Man, who supports Forever Family, of course, and part of it, as well as he's been talking to some other guys who are trying to get something started, and and we're going to be following that. We'll definitely be following that and giving news. But for right now, in the London area, I am aware that Forever Family, this is one of the strategies. And there's Brother Respect that you should follow. Respect Rebellion, I think his tag is. Follow that brother. But also, when we listen to these things, if ever you are inspired by this stuff, we want you to come back. Everyone's a team. When you hear the challenges of a crime or feel free to join in, start your own thing, lend the air, and you can come here for us to give structure and balance to that concept. Essentially, what we're doing here is building. Like there's never one solution. There's always it's a collective working in unison. So this will be another place to do it. And also, before we go to the next question, this is a Black Betterment broadcast, but the idea is in your establishment, in your broadcasts, have a section or a segue that is dedicated to Black Betterment, Black progression, of B1. If you can do that, then you are part of the solution as well. I hope that helped a bit, brother Kel.
Yeah, big up, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
How important is racial segregation? compared to racial whitening. A lot of people have a problem with these particular topics what you've come up with. But how important is it for Black people to practice racial segregation?
Well, the word I would use is like, so from this context, racial segregation from this context comes from anti-Black people separating Black people from them, and then controlling the resources. So one society is dominant over the other, and so you can literally like be separated and have one society degrading and going low, one society is going high. So there is a value in separation. Like there is nothing wrong with separation, as in you separate to fix your stuff. You live in your own environments culturally and stuff, and that is a good bonus. And that also could help with circulating pounds and secure groups and being able to educate yourselves in your own kind of school and stuff. But in the context of what's on the board at the moment, we use segregation as a representation of what anti-Black racists have done towards Black people. If it was a scenario where Black people and non-Black people lived in separate areas, but there was no anti-Black racism, then this could be fine. I mean, if you live in separate areas, whatever, right? Just and then you go where you want to go and all this kind of stuff. But the problem you're going to have is where you separate people and you mistreat one. So you take all the resources from one into the others, and you make sure that group can never build up. If you look at America, if you look at Greenwood, Black Wall Street, this was happened. They were separated. But what happened is Black Wall Street in America started doing economically really well. So naturally, they mistreated them by bombing them and stealing them. And the irony was they said what motivated it was a so-called Black man trying to be with a white woman, this kind of stuff. So yeah, there is a value in separation, but in this context, segregation, as it's practiced by the anti-Black racists, is actually a unbalanced way of separating people to mistreat people. And these are the two strategies. Racial segregation is one way of destroying Black people, and racial whitening. Yeah, so understanding that this strategy is more than just separation. It's separation with mistreatment. You see? So, but separation with no mistreatment is whatever, and it's just that's cool. That could be a great strategy. It probably is a great strategy of staying synchronized, right? But in this context, it comes with the mistreatment. It's the caveat, the mistreatment, and we need to be aware of this. And don't forget, family. The link is actually in the forum. So jump in. You know. So we always do case studies, and one of the case studies we were doing just to show, like, obviously Black families are very important, and the reason why we need to have Black Betterment is because if you don't preach families, economic ownership, naturally certain people or Black men will not naturally do it because they'll be allured by other communities, other commitments, and they'll go with the flow, but the flow is outside the Black community. So here's a case study we did. So we were trying to get every single Black football player who played football for England. So, you know, they're good enough to play for England in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And what I found is of all the Black people who played for England in the 70s and 90s, 21 of them were married to white people, right? 21 of them.
Shocking. Very
shocking.
Very shocking.
It is very shocking, right? But then when we look at the ones who were married to Black women, we found 5, right? So what we tried to have solutions. We tried to highlight ways of making things make more sense. So one thing we're thinking of is like, what if we were to have like awards, or we would award people socially and you know, publicly for, you know, a constructive Black man to find a constructive Black woman when they're successful, when they're a football player, when they're, you know, when they're in the reason why we do care about musicians, actors, football players isn't because their craft is necessarily very important. I'm not saying it's not important. It is important, right? Or it might not be, who knows? But it's because optically you are training people by your behavior. When you become like all eyes on you, the things you do become the training of the mind, and the things you do become more trendy. So if Black boys have seen so many Black men become rich, successful, and marry white women, they might see that as a trend. And this necessarily doesn't work in Black people's collective best interest, because Black women need to have a constructive Black man. And I hope the Black women out there recognize that as Black men, we are dedicated to find you constructive Black partners, right? But also, when we go nowadays, so from the noughties to 2020, it's gone up. So now it's 38% we found so far, 39 we found so far, and naturally, funny enough, many of those will probably identify as biracial, one black parent. So you're seeing the process of what we're seeing already happening, as you would expect, right? And then once again, we only found 7 who were dating black women. So the Regis Award we're saying we'll give this. I think through our studies, this brother, Mr. Regis here, this brother here, he was the first Black England person I've found who married a black woman. So we named the award after him. So what we're saying is, anytime we see a black man, a sport athlete or whatever it is, we're in the UK, but you can have your American or Canadian or whatever variants, whatever. We give them these awards digitally just to say, well done, we value black families, blah blah blah. Excellent, fantastic. We also did the same thing for black directors, because also directors play a very big part in making media, and we found that 7 of the directors from the UK historically. So if there's others, please let me know. But from all the studies we did, the 7 black directors in the UK, none of them married black women, but there was one who did, and that's Idris Elba. He's married to a black sister, and he, even though he's more of an actor than a director, he's done one film, I think. We'll give him the props there because we need to get something on the board. But generally, this is the pattern. So what I'm saying, we connect the dots there. We see there's something going on. Now, we won't go into that. This is a diagram of who black people choose, black men and black women choose. And I won't go, we'll run past it, but what we're seeing is generally black women like black men, but black men are not going for black women. And every other people group are not going for black women. So that means black women are having less of a choice. And especially if they're getting more educated, then they're going to have less of a choice. So as a community, we want to try to make as many constructive, intelligent, black empowerment, black men for the fantastic black sisters to marry and have a fantastic family and be part of the Black Betterment process. This data shows it here. So if you don't know, I could break it down, but it's like, it says here, women respond to men, highest response rate. So women, you see there, black women are looking at black men. If you see here, black women are looking at black men, while everyone else is looking at white women, right? But then when we look at men responding to women, we're seeing that all the people here are looking at Asians, and the Asians look at Latino. Now, this is an American study. It's the same for the UK and Canada as well, but I just haven't got the diagram. Sorry. The lowest response rate is black women. So what we're seeing is nobody is being with the black woman, but then the black man himself is then going for the white woman. So once again, this is inadequate behavior. This is collectively inadequate behavior. You see, and then what we notice is when it comes to the men who I think it's who men respond to women. Is this right? Men to women. I think this is none of them are going to the black woman. I think that's what this one shows here. I think that's how it works, right? So it's problematic. Who is the least likely one, right? Yeah. So it's the lowest. Sorry, it says the lowest response. So the lowest response is black women are getting the lowest response, and that's including black men. And the lowest response actually is black from races to black men. But blah 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 blah. Anyway, but what's more important is here. So we use a football diagram here, but you guys can use anything you want: basketball, ice hockey, whatever, right? And the question is, if you got the best black people in football to play in a team, the team will probably win the league because they'll be that skillful, right? And if you call them Black United or whatever, well done. But if the team don't work as a team and they start, talking to the crowd, goalkeeper tries to score goals, the midfielders in defense, people walk off the pitch, then we're going to lose. You see, and right now, unfortunately, when I say that black people are collectively inadequate, this is the kind of formation we're doing. We're trying to get this formation. And how do we get this formation? By practicing Black Betterment. So family, that's what it is. Now I've gone through a whole lot of stuff. I mean, there's so many. I've got a database of all this kind of things, whatever, right? But if there's any questions, jump.
So Raven, what I'm getting is that the unsynchronized black man, he is marketing a product that the anti-black system has given him consciously and unconsciously.
Yes.
this is very problematic. And also we could say that the anti-black system on ethical code of conduct, that they rely on the character assassination of the black woman in order to make the non-African woman's beauty be a standard to allure the unsynchronized black man in to cause genocide to the black race. Could we say that, or is there more, to it than that? What's your opinion?
Brother Carl's really going in there. That's good. So what we're talking about is marketing, right? And unfortunately, for the black collective, many black men, or black people in general, for here and there, but generally, that we subscribe to the campaigns of non-black people. And this particular demonstration, black men. So, sorry, white men. So, for example, when white men make their books, their educational books, their TV shows, their drama shows, their magazines, and they promote it, because they're promoting their women as the number one women they have for many years, this then becomes a standard. So black men are tapping into it, right? So what you're trying to find is, rather than black men wanting to be with black women, they want to be with the daughters of white men. So we have to then counter that with pro-black, Black Betterment branding, and sometimes we have limited resources, but that's why we have to use platforms like this to promote this kind of stuff. What we have to find is the biggest objection I've ever got when it comes to practicing Black Betterment is promoting black love. Like everything else, people, they let it go, but black love is the one thing that you get the most anxiety over, and this is because the marketing of white men is so good when it comes to how it can infiltrate the mind of our collective group, that this is many black men's primary, that the self-esteem might be so low that when they see these things, it's like their number one choice. Now what's going to happen, you're going to have all the black men, and that's not true, love is no color, I didn't do that, you're in the caveman stages, and what they do is they're going to feed you a remarkable story, right? And I say that it's interesting because everyone who jumps forward has the same story. Like everyone doesn't have self-esteem issues. Everyone, didn't fall for a marketing campaign. The problem is you have no idea how your mind's being trained as you're growing up, where you're seeing the same message here and there, subliminally, black mind, right? The brain computer. You have no idea. And you have no idea how this is training your mind to do things that might not work in your collective best interest. That's why we train Black Betterment. Yeah? That's why we train Black Betterment, because if you don't have a way of thinking or a lifestyle that puts the needs of your collective group first, especially when you've gone through such a terrible ordeal and collectively a lot of inadequate behavior is going on, then what will happen? They'll keep repeating, and you will culturally get used to struggling and not even know it's seen as struggling. Your culture get used to the concept of there's only space for 1 or 2 people to do well, and your entire life is to do that, rather than seeing the benefits of collective. Rap Raven, your mic is doing a bit of weird stuff. If you can't hear me, let me know. Who knows? It might be interruption of anti-black person trying to undermine progress, or it might be a dodgy PC. Who knows?
Yeah, Brother Raven. I hear this a lot for so many years. Is that for some reason, which is very strange, that African descendants hate non-African people. Now, when we look at it politically, and that shopping in their industries and not shopping in our own, marrying with the women or their men, helping them out against our best interest, are these really like hatred type of behaviors, brother? Perhaps if you could go in to let us know, where is this, them thinking that we hate them, when in actuality that we are, we support them to go against the best interests around them.
So I'm glad, very, very, very good point. What you're highlighting is it's like what you do is just say the opposite. Yeah. So what you find is we'll say something like, oh, we recognize that our shops are underfunded and they can't get stockists and they're challenged. So we want to get black people to go and shop there. And then they'll say like, oh, that's racism. Even though black people willingly go to all establishments of non-black all day. So it's like kind of like a red herring, gaslighting. Yeah, they try to do that. So anytime you try to do something productive within your group, they'll use these terms racism. And
Okay.
at no point will they ever highlight who has practiced the world's worst racism of all time. They won't do that. They'll do an analogy like there was a time when racism exists and now everyone's equal. But what we have to try to demonstrate is that's not the case, right? Black people are lower and other people groups are higher. So
Right.
if we all move at the same time, it's always going to be like that. So we have to have a dedicated effort to move ourselves up, right? And they know that. So for example, if a man has 3 houses and he knows that if black people get their act together, he might only have 2. Well, that's so a black person has none, he has 3, and he's going to 2. He's losing out, right? So many people are very, very challenged by that. In the video I was showing, there was a non-black person there, and we were talking about black issues, and I think I said that, when people come here, they might see learned behavior that's not in the best interest. And he jumped in the defensive and was saying things like, who's making them do that? Maybe they didn't themselves. Like there was a straight defense, like, what are you blaming us for this? And you say that we're this kind of blame game. And one of the things with many black people is they don't want to feel like they're blaming anyone. Don't get wrong, there's much blame to have to non-black people. There's much blame, right? But we have to focus on that at the moment. We can focus on the strategies that non-black people do to keep black people subservient. And all you need to do is watch my videos as case studies in Speaker's Corner.
Right.
You'll see it happening in real time.
Right.
There you
go. I've noticed, unfortunately, Brother Raven, we do sabotage at the back of the mind, as you present with the Black Betterment organization, and then the front of the mind. There's a lot of us are wanting to help out our people, whether it be online, offline, and some of us are we can be a bit disgruntled towards when our people are kind of testing us out to see if we're real or not. How important is it for the community to test those who are collectively putting themselves forward to help the collective, right? And at the same time, for them who's putting themselves forward as a collective to remain synchronized. How important is that, brother?
So at one point I was reading some comment. I mean, how important is what? Sorry, say again. Just that last bit.
How important is it that the collective test those who claim that they're for the best interests?
Very
and
important.
At the same time, remaining synchronized. How important is it, brother?
It's super important. One of the challenges that we face is because so many black people are in diabolical conditions. Some people might in order to get out of that diabolical condition, they have a quick way of making a quick money to get out of it, right? And one of those quick money schemes might be pretending to be constructive, or pretending to be pro-black, or pretending to be a community worker. And unfortunately, because that is a pathway that many people who are desperate, you might get certain people, you paint this picture of scamming and charlatans, right? So it is very damaging when you have a collective group that's already struggling to have people who are meant to be there looking after the group, mistreating the group. So in order to protect us from that, we have to have certain principles. The reason why Black Betterment is important is because it's a high principled lifestyle, right? So you have to be consistent with it. The things you say has to be consistent. So one of the things that, for example, all power to Black Lives Matter, right? I'm not undermining Black Lives Matter. Power that the sisters there came together to try to stop black men being murdered, and that was what was reported. But the challenge is, even though that's a good premise, when you ask like certain other fundamental back-end questions, like what's your views on black family, what's your views on black love, what's your views on black economics, there is no answer. And unfortunately, that means, and also where's the funding come from? Is it black funded? When these things happen, that means you can easily be controlled, yeah? And it takes a lot to be synchronized or dedicated to Black betterment ideals stuff. So I was trying to find, so here, one thing I always ask whenever I come across any black person, yeah, who says they're for the black furtherment of our collective is, what are your views on black love? And I go, black constructive man with black constructive woman, raising a constructive black family, black people improving their rights of black people being respectful and honorable to black people. And then I ask question 2, What's your views on black economics? Black people networking within business, black people patronizing each other's business, and black people teaching each other business skills. Usually when I ask that, the amount of ums and ahs and I disagree comes out. So it really shows me that if this man is saying is for the furtherment of the betterment of black people, foundation isn't there. Like this is like a basic foundation. And there are many black people fist up or they're screaming and shouting with a beret on their head or whatever, and you ask them these basic questions, and they're like, no, we don't support that. We just want black people to not get killed by the police. Well, okay, neither do I. Good idea, but it's a bit more than that, isn't it? Like, once again, this is reactionary. We're reacting to things. Like, something's gone wrong, let's react to it. Let's march, right? Let's ask someone to stop doing something rather than build defense, economics, social structure to give us a better defense. So we don't have to keep asking. You see? So I think to answer your question, brother, the questions we ask them is the first step. And you'll be surprised how we don't ask people questions. You can ask me, what's your views on Black Love? I'll give you an answer in it. Yeah. Right. When I go to Speaker's Corner, I suspect I was the only person there talking about Black Love, give or take, right? Some of them say, I was there too. But generally, it wasn't important, right? It wasn't important. Yeah. Now, don't forget, brothers, we're doing case studies on unsynchronized black men and anti-black trolls. So because we are well-trained and disciplined to any criticism that might come along, they're welcome to come in, use audio to express themselves, and then we can try to educate them on the benefits of black betterment. Go ahead, brother Carol.
In the last presentation, unfortunately, brother, we are in different relationships. There are African descendants who are with the non-Africans in relationship. So is there a place for them in the Black Betterment organization? And how does that, go out with helping the collective without kind of segregating in the wrong way? Is there like a method to
There is. Okay. There is a method. So naturally, we promote constructed black love, black man, black woman, right? However, we know that certain people will stumble upon betterment when they've made certain life choices, and we definitely don't want to segregate them. So what we're saying is there are two types of black betterment practitioners, right? The black betterer is the person who does everything pro-black, everything for black people, economics, wife, teaching, each one teach one. Everything is their whole life is dedicated to black people progressing. We understand that there might be who can't do that. So if they do one or two activities, we say they're a black betterment builder. However, there is a caveat. If we had a black betterer, allegedly, who did all these things, right? Like they sell, they've got a black business, they've got they do teach children, they've got a magazine, they do anything you want to do that's black betterment led, and they do it consistently. If they choose not to marry a black woman, we can't call them a black betterer. We have to call them a black betterment builder, right? The titles are important. If you go on YouTube, if you go on Google at the moment and you type in pro-black, what tends to come up is Google will interrupt you and it'll say, can I be pro-black and marry a white woman? Now, the reason why this is a collectively inadequate statement is if that's the most popular search term for pro-blackness, then already it shows there's subservience. It already shows that the fundamentals of how a people group exist and go by isn't understood, where people want to be pro-black but not marry a black woman or a black man, but we're going to focus on men for now, right? So once again, if you find yourself not marrying a black woman or vice versa, black man or whatever, no one should mistreat you. You're not marginalized. You're still a fantastic member. However, when it comes to black betterment, your title, if you were to do any constructive work, will be a black betterment builder, not a black betterer. Black betterers are dedicated to all things black, constructive and forward. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. Another thing as well that's come to mind, the black woman, unfortunately, is starting to not trust us black men. They're starting to see what's happening in the communities. They're not feeling protected and safe. How important is it for the youth to understand the mindset of the black woman as it pertains as a female, to create that bridge with them for the collective to practice betterment.
Yeah, brother, you might be able to, because I know you're quite versed on these kind of solutions, but training our boys to understand the different dynamics of women is important. There are different types of women. I know you have a list that you might want to go over, right? And your Bible, you can jump and do it. But understanding that's important. Also, teaching black boys the value of protecting and providing. Yeah,
Right.
you're trying to make that concept be a masculine concept. It's one of the greatest things you can do is be a provider and protector, right? So you want black women to trust you, but they will trust you through your deeds. But also, and this time we're going to cover on tomorrow's show as well. Tomorrow's on the Black Betterment Broadcast. Make sure you follow it. Tomorrow's show, because I went to a meeting, a collective meeting, a stream meeting, and it was the same thing where, unfortunately, a lot of the black women complain that they're not comfortable with communicating with black men by the response when they say that we don't feel protected in certain environments. And unfortunately, a lot of the black men, or some of the black men, go on the defensive and they went to default and start talking about, sometimes I try, I can't control who my sister dates. And they're very particular about certain things when a lot of black women say you're missing the point. So we want to make sure that first we are in listening zone. So that when the sisters are speaking, we're listening and we respond softly and with care, and teaching black boys the value of this, but also understand the different nature of black women, the different types of black women that I'm sure black brother Kel will understand.
Excellent, brother. Excellent.
Real question. It says, I noticed that the majority of pro-black men marry non-black women, or the preference. I see the disconnect. Kel, I would say that's unsynchronized. Yes. So if a black man isn't married to, if a black man isn't pursuing a black partner, or vice versa, right? This is definitely unsynchronized with Black Betterment. Because Black Betterment, you're actually trying to find a black woman, right? Have a black family. So this process is definitely unsynchronized. And unfortunately or fortunately, depending, if who you're asking, whatever, if a black man is married to a non-black person and they discover Black Betterment, naturally we're not telling them to throw their wife away. Maybe some are, I don't know. But generally they probably have family and stuff, and this is not but what we're saying is we will recognize your contribution as a Black Betterment builder for the work you do, but you wouldn't be able to be a black bearer. How this makes sense is if you see it from the standpoint of veganism, which is a lifestyle, you might have two people. This is a very good analogy, right? You might have two people, right? Person one, they've saved cows and chickens. They've gone on boats and freed fish. They've raised £1 million to free goats and to have ants walk free and all this kind of stuff, right? And this is what they do. And even animals love these people because this person saves the animal, right? The guy eats sharks, yeah? So he can't be a vegan. He can be a nice person towards animals, yeah, but he can't be, even though there's a lot of things. It's just like Black Betterment. You can save black people, train black kids, write a book about black love, go up, do all this, make a movie about black empowerment. If you're not actively trying to be for a black woman, or you pick a non-black person, you're not a black betterer. You are a Black Betterment builder. And we respect you for it, but you won't get that title because that title is reserved for people who are synchronized with the complete package of what Black Betterment is. Hope that analogy makes sense for the girls listening. And feel free to jump in, guys, because we will be ending soonish because we don't want to take up too much time. And we said we all try to keep it within 2 hours, so we don't want to go over our stay. So feel free to jump in now before we go, family. But Karen, you're dropping some serious science for us. Very important, brother. Very important, brother.
So, technology has improved over the years. And what's your take on the youth, our youth, in regards to building apps, etc.? Or what is it more easy for them to kind of crack down on the economics so they can kind of sustain themselves without relying too much on those who don't want to help them? What's the solution?
So we obviously promote each one, teach one philosophies, but what we want to be doing in these sessions as well is those who know coming together and giving recommendations of where they think the industry is going, or what actual skills will benefit our group. Right now, for me personally, I'm strong on children understanding tech. There's a whole ecosystem or osmosis way of thinking. That's why that is. But understanding technology, from either building technology or building software, and building apps that are dedicated to helping Black people, right? And because the algorithms have been made to help other groups, and there's meetings going on where we're not in those meetings because other companies run them, so Black people's agenda won't be at the top of the list, or it's never usually best when another group is representing you for what they think you need, right? So by teaching children tech, this is programming, development, and there's books, and we cover this on our show, but there's books you can get young children into that will make programming more alluring, right? And we want to make learning alluring. Now there's a collection of skills that is beneficial to Black people, whether it's being a doctor, a lawyer, a farmer, or what, we can discuss that. But definitely technology is important, considering we use technology today to connect with all the brothers around the world, right? And unfortunately, when you're on YouTube and stuff, there's rules and regulations, things you can't talk about. We sit before with some of the brothers, I think it was Wiley and this other brother from America, he's like a rapper, entertainer, I forgot his name, forgiveness. But when they said certain things, they were shut down by certain communities for being anti this and anti that, allegedly. And this is the power they have by shutting people down off the networks, or signed to certain institutions. That's why we have to make our own networks, our own web, our own tech, where the rules won't be that harsh against Black people being truthful or trying to support Black needs, because we run it. And this is the thing that is taking a long to actually train the family of why this stuff is important. But it starts being kids. A lot of us won't learn anything now. Our minds are very developed, and we're going to struggle to learn, how to use the toaster. But we can teach Black children how to do wondrous works. But the issue is, the reason why you have to, even though you want them to learn and being clever, they have to have a Black betterment lifestyle and mindset, because if they don't, they will naturally use their skills to benefit other groups. They'll naturally, and then when they become successful, they'll be more attractive to other people, and then they'll want to marry to those communities, which always happens, right? So when you're grounded by Black empowerment, Black betterment, B1, Be First, all that kind of stuff, you won't do that. But if you're not grounded by these Pan-Africanism, this kind of stuff, you won't do it. You'll just whatever works, and you whatever you think works, you'll do. And usually none of that works in Black people's collective best interest. It never has. It never has. There you go.
Yeah, I totally agree, brother, man. It's we need to kind of nurture them, because the youth, they're on their own, brother. We are the elders now. Those are from the 70s and 80s. So it's our kids, unfortunately, that are running wild on the streets. And we need to sort that out. The Peckham thing, brother, very problematic. An African descendant went into a place that she shouldn't have went into, and there were particular actions that she was grabbed, etc. and that, right? The solution, helping our sisters to keep away from the non-African people shops, which produces their invention, which they had before. How can we cultivate them to keep away from these institutions that have shown consistency of harming them one way or another?
That's an extremely good question. We have to find alluring ways to make Black people shop in Black establishments. Now, one of the challenges you're going to face, and I was speaking to some sisters about this the other day at some meeting, and it was like some sisters were starting their own Black cosmetic shops and stuff, and they were trying to get distributors, and the distributors were non-Black, and they wouldn't sell them certain things, so they'll sell them for extortionate price versus how much they sell their own community, and they were trying to lead them out of the market. So that's why we have to be willing to obviously shop in Black establishments, but also understand that at some point we might have to pay more. Now, we're not saying pay for a bad service. We also want to train Black vendors and shop owners to give the best service, but sometimes we have to pay a bit more. One thing that we do here directly is a concept known as co-unity spend. Yeah.
Right.
And with community spend, what it is we get a list, a database of Black-owned retail shops or shops where you can visit, and then we'll systematically shop there with, you know, many people, and we'll make an event out of it where people take pictures, hashtag, and you know, they go there and they buy a minimum of one thing, but preferably more. And you know, we invite celebrities who love spending money on things that they, you know, I saw one guy, apparently he spent, Black brother, he was in France and he spent, I think was it £10,000 or something like that on a hot dog, because the hot dog was wrapped in gold and this kind of stuff. So he wanted to eat a hot dog, and I was like, oh, well, if you've got that kind of money to blow away, why don't you celebrities come down and buy the auntie's entire shop? If you can spend £10,000 on a hot dog, I think it was £10,000, whatever it was. Either way, even if it was £1,000, that's a lot of money for a hot dog, right?
That's a lot.
So yeah, it's a lot of money. I don't, even though I don't eat meat, I wouldn't be in that. But if you guys know your celebrity friends, we can do these things, and we all come down, rich and poor, spending, you know, a minimum of one product to 1,000 products or whatever it is. And the idea, I mean, in a good world, we literally can clean the shop out. Unfortunately or fortunately, Black people in certain areas have so little shops or retails that literally the amount of Black people we have, we could literally shop them out. And then if we systematically do that every week we're shopping people out of business or in business, you know, whatever, right? Then this is a good marketing campaign where you know you just and this is family. This is the logo here. I'll give this logo to anyone. The community spend thing. I'll just email you whatever it is. Do it if you're in Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, New York, Montreal, South Paulo, wherever, I don't know, right? Wherever you're at in the world, you can do this. You can take this logo and you can say, on Monday to whatever, or the Sunday to whatever, we're going to get all the people to go to this shop and just shop them out. And it's what we're doing is many things. You're obviously helping the aunties, the uncles out and that, but you're also psychologically training Black people to shop Black, but you're making a spectacle of it. Unfortunately, Black people, we make spectacles of mistreating each other, doing error-prone behavior, and that becomes the norm. Let's make a spectacle of Black economics. Let's make a spectacle of Black families. You see? Let's make a spectacle of it. Yeah?
Yeah, to touch upon that, brother, should we complain when our people higher the prices in the shop due to the fact that we haven't contributed for them to kind of lower the shop? For example, there's a thing called Poundland, and they've reached a level where everything's a pound. So when it comes to us as a people, we will say certain things like, oh, to go in the yard shop, you know what I mean, it costs this, and you know what I mean, you know, me when I have no money for this and that, and you understand. So do we have, should we kind of just kind of overlook that and say, you know what, I'm just going to spend anyway? Or should we kind of lessen the prices in the food shops, etc.?
The challenge is a lot of the vendors might not be able to, because they can't actually get that kind of price from the distributors, especially the ones who are non-Black, who have a network going where they're trying to keep, like, whether it's the hair business, the hair trade, like there's certain communities that they have a monopoly on Black hair, on Black food, or whatever it might be, right? And obviously we can't tackle them because it's so much challenging. But what we can say is, as a concept, there's certain things that you have to pay more for. So it's, how does that work? So it might be, you know, obviously you don't necessarily have to shop all your entire wages at a shop. Maybe there's certain, you can buy certain things at a certain shop while you buy certain things elsewhere. Ultimately, you would like to everyone to shop everywhere, but if you, because we understand that some people are generally struggling, right? And things add up. So if you could get, you know, this amount of food, but go somewhere and get this amount of food, then obviously it might not work in your interest if you're poor. But well, you can have selective things. So I'm only gonna buy this from here, or I'm gonna spend 20% here, and then I can spend the rest elsewhere. But ultimately, we want people to spend the money, right? But that we have to make sure that the vendors themselves are doing a good service, and they're not just raising the price because of, you know, whatever way, you know, some dodgy kind of way, but it's generally that's how much it costs. And you know, I mean, hopefully what I would like to do as well is I would like to, there's a store called the Black Pound store in Westfield and Stratford in London. And one, I will, just because it's a good concept, and Brother Swiss and the sisters who did that, I would like to get a gang of people to go and shop it out. Just go mad, just go there, just literally like make a spectacle of it, Just go there and like you literally when you go in there, just cobwebs. There's nothing left. Yeah, and the thing is, we've got the team and the money to do it. So these are the ideas. But once again, even though it's good to clean people out and make them have a good life, more so it's the training and like I said, you're one who probably can agree with this. Making people's dopamines explode when they shop from Black people. So even though they might be spending a few more, it feels good. You know, it's almost like, think of it as like, you know, when you go to the shop and you buy trainers, right? Ultimately, this brand and that brand, they're both owned by Black people. But these two brands, right? They're both pretty much the same, but because you have a love for this particular brand because of the history and they've got the basketball people using it and the football people using it, you're willing to pay 20, 40 pounds more for this brand over that brand, and it makes your dopamine explode. Well, the same thing could go on when you buy a Black brand. So if we're using there was a Kenyan woman, we did a case study on her. She made the trainers in Africa, and I was like, we in Kenya, we want to get those trainers here. But just so we got those trainers, buying those trainers should make our dopamines explode. Like, wow, I've got a sister made these trainers. I know there's some brothers who play basketball, and there's a UK brother, I think American brother who does trainers. Getting that circulation in. Now, fortunately, also, there was a time where Fubu, we'll bring up Fubu and the stuff they've done, and we definitely love that. But the only challenge we have with Brother Fubu is if we're going to get a whole load of brothers and sisters to buy your brand because you're doing well, we understand that you haven't picked to marry a sister. So it's kind of combo breaker in the Black economics thing, right? Because that's why we have a hierarchy, isn't it? When you join a database, this is going to sound very shocking, but very important. How you interact with the community and how you interact with your family is important. So yes, a Black man who gives back to the community and is married to has a nice Black family will probably have more weight than Fubu, right? Because he hasn't married the sister. But that's how sincere we are with this message. Like, we have to be very sincere. Like, here's what we're trying to do. There's no hidden mystery. We recognize that we're collectively inadequate, and we've been for so many years, and we've culturalized struggling that we don't know we're doing anymore. And even when we try to do good, we get so many trolls trying to make us not do it. So you know something's happening. So there you go. So that's my answer, brother. I hope that makes sense. I'm surprised Fubu didn't take over the by now. Is that the web? I think it's a picture. I can't see the picture. Rap Raven, are you on Fanbase? I don't know what that is. Is that a website? I don't know. Let me know what Fanbase is. If it's productive for Black people, I'll jump on it. If it's run by a Black person, I'll jump on it. But yeah, let me know. So guys, I haven't been reading some of the messages, so shame on me. So if there's anything I've missed, that's very important. 1,000 forgivenesses. Let me see what I go through. Just imagine the boost of Black economics. Yeah, big up. We should re-show that. Just imagine that. Fantastic. So there's obviously a troll in there, but we'll do a case study of the troll. Whenever you're talking good things, they'll use the what's that word? What's the first stage? My memory's so bad. There's first stage is my memory's so the first stage of the 5 stages of grief is denial, anger, and not compromise. What's the word where you're haggling? What's the other word for haggling? Not bartering. My memory's back. This is how you know I need to go to bed. I wrote it down. I should know this off head, but 1,000 shames on me.
We got the blueprint anyway for us to remind us.
Yeah. This reminds us. It's going to bother me if I. There is bargaining. Sorry, not bad. Bargaining. So these are form of bargaining where you try to undermine people saying stuff. We're very used to it. So carry on, but. Big up all the Black brothers and sisters who are constructive, and keep an eye out on the unsynchronized Black people and the troll anti-Black racists who, whenever we're doing good things, they will be there in a truckload. They will be there, and this is a case study for us to see it. We are living in a new time where there isn't the separation no more. Black, white, and yellow, it's irrelevant. If we help each other, one human race. Yeah, so this thing here, we have to be very careful of this behavior. This is either trolling or just a person who's ignorant. And remember, I have to give you the problem with using Black people as the front analogy is because we're so despised and mistreated that we might not even recognize that we are mistreating ourselves. So you have to use other groups as that same analogy. So, for example, if we're saying that Black people come together to work on Black issues, women come together to work on women issues. Yeah. And can you imagine if women did that and you say, oh man, that's sexist, man. You can't do that. I forbid that. Can you imagine if your daughters and your sisters and your mothers and you say, no, I don't do that. I want men to be a part of this women thing. It would make no sense. You go, well, it's for women, isn't it? Like, let women do what women do. Just like black people. Yeah, but this is what they try to go, no, kumbaya, we work together as a build a bridge. Meanwhile, the other communities are doing their own thing very well. So I would like to think that this ignorance comes from the back of the mind of this gentleman who I suspect is non-black. But who knows? Maybe it's a strategy to undermine black progress, because I've seen it consistently so many times. So there you go. There you go. Also, guys, we have to market and make it. You guys can help. Black people helping black people alluring. Yeah. And we're using the term Black Betterment, the lifestyle, because that's a strategy we use. But trying to make that concept the concept, right? And giving rank and status for those people who openly promote that. So when you see me, I'm around how many black brothers and sisters, kudos to them, but many of them hesitate to even mention a concept of black people and black people because they're kumbayarist and, they've been conditioned to not look after black people's issues. Let them know that we have a hierarchy. We're only going to focus on black people, help black people. Outside of that, it's got nothing to do with Black Betterment, so it's a different topic. Hope that makes sense. We're coming towards the end of the show. So, guys, if you've got any questions, ask away now or jump in. Trolls, you're welcome to jump in. We will be using it as a case study so we can defend because obviously we have lightweight trolls, but we train for the heavyweight trolls, you see. So we can use you as that kind of training because we know that whenever we're doing something right, you'll be there. You'll be there. So we thank you for that because we know we're doing our job. It's fantastic. Yeah. But don't forget, family, if you've got anything, give us a message now, jump in. We have to big up Brother Kel. Consistently good, consistently asking the right questions. Very important, brother. Black Betterment, that brother. He's always good. Anyone else, brother? Anyone want to jump in? Let me put the link there again because so many people talk that we might lose the link and I haven't been able to pin it. So invite, oopsie daisy, copy. Feel free to jump in. Also, bring up Titans TV. We also have to give thanks to any kind of black station that allows space for Black Betterment to be promoted. This is honorable stuff. This is very necessary. So big up Titans TV and also big up Content Over Everything. Very important, brothers, for what they're doing. And we thank them for this. Very important. Any questions, family, let us know.
The black ice and the gut kush as well. And
yes, gut kush and black ice, definitely. Yes. And I'm kind of going on a tour at the moment. So I just came on Speakonomics and then some others coming up and I'll promote them on the show. But don't forget, tomorrow is the Black Betterment Broadcast. So go on the Black Betterment. I'm thinking if I post the link in here, does it work or does it not? Hold on. So follow the Black Betterment Broadcast because we do the Friday show. So the Thursday shows, if we continue, will be here on Brother Times TV space. And then we'll obviously continue expanding certain things on the Friday show. But I'm just thinking if I can find, is it links? Is it Black? Let me focus back. Links, let me see if I can find it. Might be this one, let's see. Yeah, so this is the YouTube channel. So this, I hope it works if you click on it. Click on there and just follow the channel. Blah 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 blah. Remember, the channel is set up for black people. So don't think it was my channel or Carl channel or a Kel channel or a Christian channel or any channel. See, it's a channel set for black people, and we're there trying to make templates, codes of conduct, and way of operating that makes black people's life better. That's important. So feel free to follow it, and you're part of that process. So feel free to come along and do it. We try to be error prone. We try to move away from error prone and be high principled. And that's why we have a certain way of how we communicate. That's something that works. There you go. But once again, anyone who wants, is that a person? Hold on, let's check. There you go. Yeah, no. If you've got any questions, ask away or jump in. But remember, if once we go off, we're gone. We can't ask again unless you come to the show next week or same for next week. Any topic you want us to cover, let us know. Remember, the question is, are black people collectively inadequate? And unfortunately, the evidence is out. Yeah, as our group is currently inadequate at really being self-sustaining at certain principles, very important principles. As much as people get angry by that, now in the last few minutes, let us actually play. Where is it? Let's play the ending of that video, and feel free to jump in while we play it. Right?
I'm not black.
Oh, you tell them African advancement.
Yeah, and then they say, oh, I'm not African. Well, the point I'm trying to make.
But then you go, where is the open door elite who's going to make the institutions where they don't care? So right now.
Very good question there from a potential unsynchronized black person. A troll. Is Raven a black supremacist? So this is another strategy. Let me put on the screen. There's another strategy that what they do is they practice white supremacy and mistreat people. And then when you're being mistreated and you're in a low area, you want to fix yourself by becoming adequate. Then they'll label you fixing yourself as a black supremacist. I'm saying that black people are collectively inadequate and white people are in a collectively superior position to black people. So there's no statement I can make that says be a black supremacist, because it will almost be like Robin Hood or Zelda. It'll be a fantasy, won't it? There is no supremacy that can happen. We're talking about black betterment and how black people can work with black people to fix black issues. And the current interest is black families, black economics, and black ownership. Once again, these are the strategies, and we're aware of it because we use it as case studies. But feel free to jump in if you think that Raven is a black supremacist, because once again, they can say it, but then when it comes to articulating and being intelligent on it, they don't jump in. I still have that belt. Still got it. So come and try and take that belt. All right. Let's carry on listening to the brothers.
If you see any Somali person come to England and stab someone or take drugs, that's not part of Somali culture, right? So they've learned it. So you need to create the institution that makes them not do that. Yeah? You see? That's why you need the open door elite. You see? The open door elite. Have you noticed that no matter what I'm doing?
Very important. I didn't bring up this concept. The concept of the open door elite. Whenever you're trying to talk to black people, because you have this kind of concept where everyone can work together, you find that that's not going to happen, and then they'll just talk in circles about why they don't do something, or why the word black is a bad word, which happened here again. Funny enough. What you then say is, well, the truth is, we're talking about an open door elite, meaning we practice open door elitism, where anyone who wants to work towards helping black people can, but they have to be synchronized. They have to practice unity and utility, and then they automatically become part of the open door elite. Now, usually what happens, this causes anxiety because people's concept of elitism is a king and a queen of being rich, and you can never attain that wealth or that status. We're saying all you have to do is turn up and be consistent. And this is where you start seeing the double standards. Once again, this psychological programming, this is case studying, this is showing you that some people are naturally unsynchronized and they're there to sabotage without knowing it. And you use these words and processes to fizzle that out. And that's what we're talking about here. There you go.
I'm pro-black, I'm black first, and I'm constantly solution-based, right? I'm constantly trying to find ways to make black people come together to work on black issues, but we know it's not going to work. So we have an open door elite policy.
Raven, you know what? The point of, Raven, you know what I'm trying to say?
You're next.
The point I'm trying to make, Raven, is that
You're next.
I'm trying to look at the same issues as you, and I'm like, I feel like you're almost there. Yeah. Like, there's something kind of missing, something that, it has to be something that every black person, for the lack of a better term, is like, yes, this is it. Like,
yeah, that's the lifestyle of black betterment. I can't make it even more plain. That really is the thing. A lifestyle dedicated to fixing your own issues is the solution. It really is. It's very simple.
It has to be like beyond.
Oh, that is the beyond. It's actually simply beyond.
Open door elitism and the open door elite practicing black betterment is what he's talking about. Remember, two types of Africans or black people: the conquered and the conquering. There's people who's gonna be at home. They're gonna listen to us. They're gonna listen to what I'm saying. And go, you know what, bro? I want to meet Raven and work with that brother for solutions, right?
Yeah, I want to work with you.
Then you're part of the
team.
team.
We need to find like another name.
First of all,
advancement is shit. Let's be honest.
Here's what it is, right? We're talking. You guys understand?
Can I push back on something you said?
Go ahead.
When a Somali comes to a country like this,
this is a non-black person jumping in. Let's see what they say.
And stab someone or takes drugs.
Yeah.
This is learned behavior, but that suggests that it doesn't happen back home. So what are you saying?
So what we're saying, we don't see that behavior collectively happen in certain countries, right?
Somali is a violent country.
Oh,
regardless.
We're talking about.
We don't have to use Somalia as an example.
Yeah, you do that, right? Here's the moral of the story, right? Anytime black people act in a way that isn't in our own best interest, that we can see is influenced by something that isn't in our own best interest, we want to change.
But when you say learned behaviour, as if black people inherently
I think like they
only do
become
things
they
that are
become
in their-
violent when they
that
come
are
to
in their
England.
interests,
No.
and that things that are not in their interests are learned behaviours.
Here's what it is, brother, yeah? We're here to fix black
Now, wait.
issues. Yeah, one second. I'll be just merciful.
Yeah, but it's like you're
Yeah.
making the problems with the black community here something to blame the
I'm not-
non-black people
Anything,
on.
no.
See what he said there? Something to blame non-black people on. So already his programming came for self-interest. He thought in his mind that black people were blaming non-black people for what he describes as a black issue, and he jumped in. You see that, even though we weren't doing that at all. So this is you're seeing that, and you see that a lot. You might even see that in the forum today.
Wait, before you jump
I
in.
got something, man.
Let's see the questions. We can't measure ourselves by the standards of others. We can't define our reality based on the paradigms of models of others. Do we not remember we are united? We have built communities. Yeah, all that's good stuff. That's right. What you can do, you can have a measuring stick. You can say that basically there's a standard we're trying to reach. And remember, when we say that we're collectively inadequate, we're not trying to kick people down. We're trying to tell a certain truth that will get people on track. The challenge is, if I was to just go out and say, marry a black woman, have a black business, have black, and just like that, it will cause so much anxiety because everyone believes we live in this great world where, kumbaya, rainbows and stuff, right? You have to let them. The reason why we're doing this is because we're going through these challenges, and can you not see it? You have to break that bubble. How you break that bubble? We're collectively inadequate. Let's carry on listening.
First of all,
But they bring their own problems sometimes.
here's what it is,
too.
right? We're not here.
do.
We're not here to blame non-black people. This is about to be about black people, right? So non-black people are not really part of this conversation yet, right? So I'm not looking to blame non-black people, although there is much blame on non-black people towards black people.
But when you say learn behaviour, who are they learning it from?
Culture. Well, like I said, if you come and you observe certain things, for example, if
You want to conquer without violence, that's your problem. Because like when you talk
Two
about
things
conquering,
Two
you
things
have
down.
to be violent.
Two things
Yeah,
down.
sorry, yeah, go.
The thing is, brother, should we answer this? Okay, cool, yeah. What it is, the idea is to recognize shortcomings in the community group and find solutions.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree
So,
with
so if we see there's a behavior that doesn't work in our own best interest, we need a narrative that makes us change. Yeah?
The reason why I'm asking is not because I'm standing up necessarily for the people you're saying they're learning these behaviours.
I haven't said anyone, you haven't.
But I'm saying as a child of immigrants, maybe there's something from your approach that we can learn as well, being black or otherwise. You understand?
So I'm going. Here's what you have to do. You have to observe what we're doing and make it apply in whatever you're doing. But what we won't do is we won't change it to other needs because black needs are very unique. By being identified as black, it's like this, right? From what I've observed, all over the world, many people collectively don't like black people, right?
Very important point. When you talk to non-black people, first of all, always being, when people try to do the, we can learn together, fine, watch, but we're not changing our script. Very important because naturally we've been trained to be subservient, so we don't know we're giving away our time and resources, which is happening now, by the way. But also, what I'm about to say is very important. I'm about to say that in many people groups, they despise black people daily. And it's normal, right? But they don't necessarily come out and tell us. And when I go to speakers corner these places, they just keep quiet. But when you talk privately with the camera, yeah, my mum, my uncle, my son, we don't like black people. But we want to be up in your business and telling you how to dictate your stuff. Happens quite regularly.
It's an issue that many non-black people don't tell us, and we would like to believe that everyone likes black people. But when you go into the houses of non-black people, there's many disparaging views towards black people. But because we're subservient by nature, or our nature's been turned subservient by being enslaved, colonized, and institutions that brainwash us. Yeah, we would like to think everyone likes us, and we don't recognize it. So I come here today, hold on, brother, to wake up black people.
Remember I told you the 5 stages of grief. When I say it, you see the brother's face. All the non-black people, when I say that in their communities they don't like black people, they don't flinch. Like, oh yeah, of course. The black people, they have. You see the brother, he's shaking his head, and he's oh man, that's oh. And remember, with the 5 stages of grief, you have the first stage, which is denial, which you might be through. Second stage, anger, and third, bargaining, that kind of thing, right? These are the first, and you see it. So here we now have a model to look at this. We've got 2 minutes left. We listen to it before we go.
Yeah, to make us work on our own best interest rather than the interest of non-black people. But what you're observing is there's a big challenge because most black people are too far gone. So you have to find a small elite you work through. Remember, I've made the claim that I'm pro-black, I'm black first, and I work with any black person who wants to improve black issues. No one yet has matched that.
So here's what I'm saying. I'm out in public saying, here's what I do. But all the black people who want to talk and undermine certain things or whatever, they don't match it. They don't say, yeah, I agree with that. Because naturally, when you meet someone, they're not talking about the name of the game or whatever. They're talking about, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, yeah, it's about time, right? What can I do? So you can easily detect the mindset of the people you speak to.
No one yet has said, I agree, or I'll do that, or I do that. Because most black people, unfortunately, don't do that. But what we like doing is we like getting...
differently.
But yet, no one has demonstrated how they do it. Now I'm saying, build institutions that's dedicated for black betterment. Build institutions that's dedicated for black progression. Own your own creative work. Own your own identity, yeah? Create black families that's constructive and high principled, right? Work with other black people and each one teach one. Collective economics, right? These are basic things that other groups know. The problem is, when you tell many black people, they want to talk about words, how they feel, don't use this kind of language. We need the small open elite who's going to work on institutions to educate everyone by osmosis.
When are we going to put you on?
So we're going to end very soon because we hit the 2-hour mark, but this is a very important point. And this is the concept of ideas over individuals, institutions over individuals. When you hit the science on the head and you constantly demonstrate what's going on, unfortunately, some brothers says the first thing they'll make about you. You'll see it in the comments now where they'll say like, he does this, he does that, he thinks it's this, and this will happen here. It's when you can't beat someone's argument, make it about them. So you want to be a messiah, you want to be a king, even though you go, this is a collective idea that anyone can promote.
On top of the hill, because you want to be the hill man. You want to be the one. You want to be the one that is on top of the hill, saying like nobody did that before me. When
5 minutes left.
When we are going to put you on the top of the hill.
It's not me, brother.
No, if you saying like, oh, nobody did that
Once
like
again,
me.
hold on, let me say this.
No, wait.
You're right.
I'm just talking, man.
But the thing is, you made a false claim. I say I promote a lifestyle.
You're trying to be the hill, man.
No,
You're
no,
on top of the hill.
No, brother.
When we're going to put you on the hill, when I'm voting,
brother.
when I'm putting Raven on
I
the
talk
paper,
about
what are you gonna do?
Hold on, brother.
But you better don't disappoint me.
Hold on. Collectivism, lifestyle. When I die, collectivism, lifestyle will live past me, right? I'm merely a voice.
Hold on, brother. Before you.
Hold on, brother.
Yes or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be nice if you said the same thing. It would be nice if you said the same thing. It would be nice if you said the same thing. It would be nice if you.
I'm now pointing at black people surrounding.
Say the same thing.
There's many people who don't come on the camera, by the way. Just you don't get to see like the people around, but there's quite a few.
It would be nice if you said the same thing. But if you're not going to say it, I'm going to say it. But don't put me as some kind of prophet. I'm saying that, you know what?
You're putting yourself there.
Hold on, brother.
That's
Remember,
what I get from,
what you're doing is part of the collective inadequate process, right? You look at a person, and let me explain, then jump in. You look at the person who's trying to say, let us work as a team for our own benefit. Then you go, you're some kind of prophet. Well, your name must be there. This is part of our own destruction, and we must do better.
Raven,
we must do better.
Raven,
Go ahead.
It's not even personal. I wouldn't say that you want to be that person. I think you're making sense, and it's very sound arguments that you're making. However, I still believe that the methodology that you're proposing is not strong enough. I don't think.
I hear that.
I don't think it's.
That's a good argument.
Now watch the ending now.
Would you?
Magnetic enough
would you? No, he's
right.
right. He might be right. Would you be willing to work with other black people to make it stronger?
Of course, I do it
There
all
you
the
go.
time, but I've been rejected.
I've tried that before.
Hold on, but
many times.
yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? So that is the thing, right? We won't forget that when you're talking to black people trying to be constructive, this isn't an isolated void. You are part of the process. You're a black person. You can actually be, if you see holes in the ship, you can actually, rather than going, there's holes in the ship, you can try to fix it, right? And that's part of being collectively inadequate, that we don't do that. Someone says, let's be constructive. Let's help each other. And people go, no, bad. Let's drive by criticism, right? We want to not do that. Go, brother, I hear what you're doing. You're one guy, one woman, one team. Let me join. I've got this place. You can do that. I've got this skill. Let's do that. This is the conquering black person. And unfortunately, and I mean it's the most correct way, you might have been seeing many behaviors from the conquered black person, but I could be wrong. They can always come back here and defend some of the way their behavior patterns, but they're good brothers because they went live, and it's not easy. It isn't easy, and it takes a lot for a person to go and give their opinions, and we love them for it. But family, we have come to the end of the show because we said 2 hours. So we want to big up all the brothers and sisters who were in the forum. We want to big up Brother Kel, very important contributor, Black Betterment to him. And Brother Kel, any last words before you go, family? Any last words?
Just Black Betterment and a great presentation for the family, brother. Appreciate you. And big up to
All right.
Titans TV as well. Black Betterment.
Thank you, family. We want to, before we go, we play Black Betterment to all, and just the culture. Every time we start the show and leave the show, we say Black Betterment. So whenever you come in the future time, please enter with the phrase Black Betterment. And when we leave, we say Black Betterment. So to all those family, Black Betterment, and thank you, Titans TV, for the opportunity. Black Betterment to you. Black Betterment. Have a good one. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. All right. End the show.